Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Navigating OCD, the podcast where we discuss all things OCD, the recovery journey, and more. Today, I have a very special guest. If you're watching on video, you can see her here, Corinne Dalton. Welcome. Hi. For those of you who don't know Corinne, she is a young adults fiction writer who actually includes a lot of mental health representation in her writing. And her latest book, which I have here, Yes, No, and the Infinity in Between, represents OCD really, really, really well. I've read it and I can vouch for that. So Corinne is here today to talk a little bit about that. So welcome, Corinne.
Thank you.
It's okay. So maybe we should start with what inspired you to write about or to include mental health issues in your writing?
Well, really, so I never really thought about publishing before when I started writing. When I got into it, I was more of a teenager and dealing with depression and OCD, but I didn't know about it at the time. So I wrote my now published first book about depression, but I just wrote it for myself because it felt like a way to kind of release the feelings and get it down on writing. It was more like therapy and a hobby at the same time. And so then when the pandemic happened, I got stir crazy and I'm like, I have a book, I'll just publish it. But it was for myself. And then when it came to when I got my OCD diagnosis just like 6 years ago, it just felt natural that, okay, I'm writing about this too.
So when you were writing the book, how important to you was it to make sure you're representing OCD for what it really is, as opposed to like the stereotype that we see so much online and in the media?
Yeah, so it was part of my intentions when writing the book to try my best to include all of us with OCD. So not just what I personally go through, but also what others might, so that there's no OCD is just about this or that, where I'm trying to encompass all of us, which was a really big task. Hopefully I did okay with. And then also like there's the internal part of OCD and the parts that other people can see. So just, I really wanted to try to make it as well as a representation I could for all of us.
Yeah, I think you did that as well. I think you were successful with that. And obviously there's so many, OCD can be about anything, can't it? There's so many different OCD themes that it's kind of impossible to include every single one in the book. But you did cover so many, especially ones that people, maybe like the average person, isn't aware of, which I think was really important. Yeah. And did you draw on some of your own personal experiences when writing the book?
Yeah, so even from the beginning, so the story starts with our main character who had just gotten diagnosed with OCD, and she mentions that it wasn't through any professional source, but it was through a blog post she found, and that's what happened with me. So, like, after digging for years and years, like, what is wrong with me, I was looking on Pinterest on like just for blog articles, and I was looking at like every mental illness but OCD. So I'm like, I don't have that one. But then to complete the circle of I've looked through it all, I read it and it hit so hard, and then it made me a bit angry because how how do you have to learn about this? And as a 24-year-old at the time, like, why did I learn this from a blog post?
Yeah.
Like, out of all sources. So, thankfully for the main character, Marlo, she only had to wait 3 years, whereas, like, myself and so many of us have to wait, like, over a decade.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that part of me was in there. And then a bit of her rage was my rage when I first was diagnosed. Not because I felt, not because of like, oh no, I have this diagnosis, but why did it take this long?
Yeah.
And while I was writing the book, I had a friend read it to give me some tips and things and her views. And she's like, you need to tone it down a little bit.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. So, I mean, the main character, she can be sarcastic and have a little bit of a temper, but it was worse.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? So many people with OCD are going to relate to that, because it is frustrating, not just for ourselves, but thinking of everybody else with OCD, that similar to you, I didn't know what OCD really was before I found out that that's what I was experiencing. I kind of believed the stereotypes that it was about order and like cleanliness, and it wasn't until I also researched and was like, what is going on with my mind, that I discovered what OCD truly is. And that can be frustrating, and it can make you angry, because if there wasn't so much misrepresentation out there, people would get diagnosed sooner and get help sooner and not have to wait like 10-year average, like you just said. And luckily the main character, hers was only 3 years. But that rage that she may experience in the book, it's kind of true, and I think it will reflect a lot of us, and a lot of people reading it will see themselves in that. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think so, for sure. So what was the process like for you, going from it being your own personal experience to sharing that? Like, was that quite vulnerable for you, knowing that other people was going to read that?
It was, but at the same time, since getting my diagnosis, I've become so open about it that at the same time, I'm like, I don't really care anymore. Yeah. And I already had published a book about depression, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna say anything I want here. Yeah. But the one side, though, is to help myself feel better, like not to trigger myself. The themes that the main character has, I don't have, or at least the way she has them. So I did do a little research on some of her things, like her subtypes are mostly harm and like moral scrupulosity. And I have bits of them, but those aren't my main themes. So I could still relate enough, though, to write it authentically. Yeah. But then also kind of save myself a little bit.
Yeah. So it was a conscious choice not to include your own themes in there, so that it didn't like maybe trigger you or make you feel distressed while writing it?
Yeah. Like with mine, I have the scrupulosity too, but it's more on the religious scrupulosity side. Yeah. And that it's like my worst themes. So I'm like, I can't do that. Yeah. And just in general, it's difficult. It's a sensitive subject anyway. So I'm like, let's avoid that completely.
It might be a good exposure for you at some point, maybe further down the line, if you felt comfortable. Yeah, it would be a great exposure to write about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Writing in any form, fiction or nonfiction, is therapy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was going to say, so was that, I know you said when you first started writing, it was for therapeutic reasons, to kind of use your creativity to help however you were feeling. Yeah, and was it, at what point did you get to the point where you were like, you know what, I don't just want to keep this for myself anymore. I want other people to be able to read this as well. Was there like a turning point, or did it just kind of just gradually come to that point?
I think with my first book, it was more like I have an entire book ready and done that I can do something with. So why not? But then, and that was in 2020. So like I just published the new book this year. And I didn't start writing it until 2 years ago because I needed my own little mental health break. But at that point, it was less for me with this book. But I was, definitely a part of it, writing my own feelings down. But a lot of it was, this is for others.
Okay. So this one, you kind of went at it with a different mindset shift.
Yeah.
And how did
it was more like, sorry?
No, continue.
It was more like, I am writing the book that I wish I had at that age. Almost like, out of all the sources that I discovered, like, hey, this sounds like OCD, I should go to the doctor. Like, it was a blog post.
Yeah.
Should it have been a blog post? Not in my professional opinion. Yeah. But in a way, it's like, if I can discover that through a blog post, maybe my book, even a work of fiction, could be like that for someone else.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't have to wait so long, and they wouldn't have to feel invalidated 24/7.
It's so true. I completely agree. It's just crazy that it's things like blog posts that we discover what we're actually experiencing, and not just something that we should know about, growing up knowing about these different illnesses and even the healthcare system and things like that. But how did it differ for you writing about depression in the first book and then writing about OCD in the second book? Was it a different process?
It definitely didn't take as long. Like the first book, it took me 7 years.
Wow.
It was a hobby.
Yeah.
But then with this one, as soon as I started, the words just flew by.
Wow.
I think it was just a lot of emotions repressed, and like, let's get out there. The anger and just, and also the motive, I think, to get it to other people.
Yeah. Like a bigger why almost to get it out.
Yeah, a bigger motivation.
Yeah. And have you had feedback from people who've read it and have maybe it's helped them understand their OCD more, or discovered that they may even have OCD? Have you had any of those kind of responses to it yet?
With this one, the only thing is, a friend had read it like right before it was released, and she's like, "Oh, some of these things kind of sound like me. Do I have OCD? I don't know, probably not." And then I'm like, "What are you experiencing here?" And she told me this and that, and I'm like, "Girl, you need to go to the doctor."
Okay.
But I thought, obviously, I don't want someone to have it or have to go to the doctor. But my little in my words. What kind of touched my heart a little bit, what made it special for me, is that she had already read a book about OCD before.
Yeah.
And she didn't relate to it at all.
Wow.
And then when she read mine, then she started thinking about her own anxieties and such. So, does she have it? Does she not? I don't know. But at least now someone's thinking.
For sure.
But then at least, and I have high hopes that the book will work that way, because with my other book on depression, someone said that they read it, and as they were, like it's written in first person, you're in the person's mind.
Yeah.
And they told me that they just thought everything that they were thinking and feeling was normal. But then it was all in this character, and they put it together, and they're like, maybe I'm experiencing depression too. So they went to the doctor, they were diagnosed, and they started taking medications, and then told me that it was the best they've felt in years.
That's so powerful.
So that's my little story there.
No, that is wonderful. Yeah.
So hopefully, maybe it can be that way.
Yeah. When I was reading it, I was thinking, this is the kind of book that should be in maybe like secondary schools, because it's not, for everyone listening, it's not just about OCD. It's got a bit of a love story and stuff in there, a little bit about family struggles and things like that as well. But the main character has OCD on top of those things. And I think as much as it educates people on OCD, it's still an enjoyable book to read as well. So I think if these kind of books was in schools where, kids can learn to read and enjoy reading, but also gain knowledge about different mental health issues, I think that would be fantastic, and it's something that should be more accessible. So that's what I think you should do with these books. Try and get them in schools. Yeah, I think that would be really good.
I'll try slowly.
Really, no, I think that would be fantastic. During your creative process, though, I wanted to ask you, did your OCD ever try to latch on to you writing the book? Did it ever try and almost weaponize that process a little bit for you?
That's a good question. I don't think it did.
That's good. No, that's good. Yeah?
I don't think it did.
Okay, good.
And thankfully, like how I said that I made the characters sometimes different than my own, or at least like put them, like I tweaked them. So I at least didn't have any other OCD things like connect to mine. Like, how sometimes you could have nothing to do with contamination, but then someone says something or one thing happens, and then all of a sudden it's your new thing for a week. Yeah. Thankfully that never happened either.
Yeah. That's good then. That's fantastic. We take that as a win. What would you say to a listener who's maybe recently been diagnosed with OCD? Is there any advice or tips that you would give them?
I'd say to do your research on actual good websites, like reliable sources. And then don't be afraid of therapy, because that was huge for me. Huge. And but don't rely on every single therapist, because I have run into ones that were not helpful. But you can always ditch them. So find someone else.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? That's very true. And in the book, I was going to say, you represent ERP so well. Did you have ERP therapy as part of your OCD recovery?
We never stuck to ERP.
Yeah.
Like, it was always a mix of things, but I also have a mix of things going on in my head. And a lot of it was the ERP I tried to do by myself.
Yeah.
Like, with videos, and then I have, I think, 3 workbooks, actually, OCD workbooks about ERP.
Yeah. So you had like a good knowledge on that already, because I thought you really captured that well in the book. And obviously the fear that we experience when we're doing those exposures, I think you really touched on that really, really well. Can we expect another book from you in the future? And if so, are you going to talk about another mental health issue, or are you going to stick with OCD and depression? Have you got any plans moving forward?
Okay, so I do have a secret side project.
Nice.
That you won't see for years, though.
Okay.
But I'll try to do that, like, traditionally through, like, a big publisher. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah.
But because with these books, I did them, like, I self-published them. I wanted complete control over them. I didn't want anyone to touch my babies, because these topics are too important.
Yeah. I can totally relate to that.
Yeah. So, the next one you will see, I'm still in the process of writing, but it's about ADHD.
Wow.
Because I have depression, OCD, ADHD, and they're all going to get their own book.
That's amazing. So anyone who's listening who's got OCD and ADHD, they need to look out for your next book. Fantastic. Thanks, Corinne. Do you want to tell everybody where they can go and find Yes, No, and the Infinity in Between?
Yeah, so you can find it online, mostly on Amazon. Books A Million has it on there. Even if you go to a local bookstore, if you'd like it better that way, you can just request it and they can get it. And then if you like to read ebooks, it's on Kindle on Amazon. And then it's also on Kindle Unlimited if you have that.
Fantastic. And tell everyone where they can find you. Have you got social media, any social media handles?
Yeah, so I just have Instagram and Threads, and it's at Corinne Dalton Author. And then my website has all my links to everything and where to get the books, and that's just CorinneDalton.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Corinne, for being here today. I've really enjoyed hearing about your creative process and your own inspiration for the book.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Bye.